Recently, Jamahal Hill went up to Alex Pereira at the UFC PI, and some sort of argument ensued, culminating in Alex Pereira tossing gloves at Jamahal Hill, inviting him into the cage. But Jamahal Hill says he gets paid to put on gloves. He doesn't fight for free, so he wasn't interested. A lot of fans were critical of Jamahal Hill for initiating that interaction, initiating that confrontation, and when prompted to get in the cage and spar, he denied the request. When asked about that interaction, UFC lightweight Michael Johnson had a similar stance. That's some clown shit. I'm gonna be honest, why even go say anything if you're not prepared to do anything? Honestly, he should have gotten hit. Like, why are you even coming over here, like, talking shit? Jamahal Hill obviously wasn't happy with that and had a response. Gang, you a bitch. And one of the biggest clowns and on the roster, they keep you around to get slapped by debut fighters. I made more money than you, and you've been here 3 times as long, so I would expect you to know the money game. Find out what it is when I'm on that time. For real, for real. One fan had a critique of that response. So to a 155er, it's find out when I'm on that time. For real, for real. But when it's Alex, you do nothing but talking. To which Jamahal responded, me and Alex fight for millions. Talking tough, that thing sweet, we'll find out real quick. And like I told Alex, we don't need gloves. Same goes for anybody that want to try me that I'm not getting paid for. He'll get paid in 3 weekends time at UFC 311 against Yuri Prochazka. They were expected to fight in 2023, but injuries prevented that from happening. Now they'll fight in a non-title fight on this card. Number 2 and 3 in the light heavyweight division. It shows the depth of UFC 311 because this isn't even a co-main event. Co-main is Merab versus Umar, and the main event is Makhachev versus Sarukian. Despite the insults Jamahal Hill threw at him, Michael Johnson is coming off a big win over Ottoman Azaitar. One of the best stoppages of his career, probably the best one, would be stopping Dustin Poirier with a first-round knockout. Alex Pereira wishes Australia a happy new year and says that he misses them and he'll see them in February, making people think he'll be at UFC 312 in Australia. He won't be fighting though because the main event is DDP versus Strickland. Something maybe Alex Pereira is cornering Sean Strickland at UFC 312. He has cornered him in the past, or maybe he's just doing a bunch of appearances in Australia. Sean O'Malley was in attendance at RIZIN Decade. He saw Horiguchi win a unanimous decision over Zulu to keep his flyweight title. Kleber Koike won the featherweight title. Sakaraba's son made his pro MMA debut against a 40-plus fight veteran, and he won via TKO in just 25 seconds. He dropped him while his leg was being held from a kick. Aziwa was a colossal favorite in her fight, and she got a first-round finish via triangle armbar. The show marks a milestone for RIZIN. Its 10th anniversary. RIZIN was founded in 2015 by Saki Karaba, who previously ran Pride and Dream. He's got a good relationship with Dana White, which facilitated Kai Asakura moving from RIZIN to the UFC, which was confirmed by Saki Karaba during the RIZIN 47 event, indicating mutual respect and collaboration between the two promotions.
No, you've always had a good relationship with Saki Kabara, obviously. You know, putting this fight together with Kai, a big deal with him. I'm curious, is there any possibility now of maybe bringing over other possible champions from their organization to the UFC you've been talking about?
Yeah, I would. You know, we did it tonight. He had a good performance. I would love to do it. And obviously, you know, having these up and coming. So we were just talking in my room, and he's saying now that in Japan, all of these young guys now want to be the first one to win a world title in the UFC. So that's exciting. You know, there's such a rich history of MMA in Japan. And, you know, some of the best days of my life were on Rivalry with Pride. And it, you know, it was a really fun time in my life. So, and in his too. You know, we were talking about it. So the answer is yes to all of that. And I'd love to go do a fight night there too.
Well, if I could make a suggestion, you were recently teasing, you know, interest in the atomweight division. If you're going to start, they have the best in the world right there. You could, the perfect person to start the division with Seika Izawa.
Thank you, sir.
Gotcha. I gotcha.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Former RIZIN fighter Manal Kopp appreciated the show. He fought there 9 times before signing with the UFC, and there's some crazy fights in there. A couple with Kai Asakura going 1-1, also knocking him out. He also had a pretty crazy fight with Horiguchi. He's headlining the March 1st Fight Night card against Royval. You also got Hawkprass Ribovics on that card, as well as Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina, Almeida Silva, Gomi, Hyder Emil, Danny Barlow, Sam Patterson, and Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. Ren Hiramoto versus Makuru Asakura rematch May 4th at the Tokyo Dome. Hiramoto won their first fight by knockout in the first round in July of this year. Makuru is the older brother of Kai Asakura. He has a record of 17-5 in MMA. A couple years back, he did that boxing match with Floyd Mayweather and he lost via TKO. Jean Silva training for his fight with Melsik Bagdasaryan. Myra Bueno Silva training for a fight with Jasmine Jasdavicius, both in February. Arnold Allen says 2024 wasn't a bad year career-wise. 2-0 against some top opposition. Got effed up in many ways, but that's life. Onwards. He actually wasn't 2-0 though. He was 1-1. He lost to Movsar Evloev and then he beat Giga Chikadze, but I guess he feels he should have gotten the decision against Movsar Evloev. However, all the judges disagreed. All of them gave it 29-28 to Movsar. After his win over Giga Chikadze, Arnold Allen expressed interest in taking on either Ortega or Rodriguez, which aren't bad callouts. They're the two guys immediately ahead of him, so he's not asking for anything crazy. Bryce Mitchell back at his home gym training after his victory over Crone Gracie.
What I do, I read that scripture, I sit here in my wheelchair, eat those dogs when they're hot right off the pan, and then I'm gonna lift these weights right here, baby. So, up here. And yeah, this is what I'm doing. I do this a lot, and this is my little facility. It facilitates, it does.
On the same card as Bryce beat Crone, Duho Choi won against Landwehr and immediately called out Bryce Mitchell, and Bryce accepted. It would be an interesting fight. Choi's striking has always been tremendous, but he showed he has a solid top ground game too in his win over Landwehr. Bryce's ground game has always been excellent, and he'll likely formulate a game plan geared towards takedowns and top control. Raul Rosas Jr.'s brother, Kevin Rosas, will be fighting on this card. Fury 181 in Dallas, Texas on February 7th. Kevin is 2 years older than Raul at age 22. His sister is actually competing on the card, Kenya Rosas Martinez. She's taking on Amber Terrell. Kenya Rosas recently told me that her whole family are fighters.
I have 3 brothers, and they all fight.
So she fights, her 3 brothers fight. Her dad was also an MMA fighter, and her husband also fights. His name is Kelvin Martinez. So that's 6 people, 6 family members right there fighting. Kyle Loughran says he will be fighting on the UFC London card on March 22nd. He went 1-1 this year. 1 good night in the office and 1 bad. I traveled around the world chasing my dreams and learned a few things along the way. 2024 is in the books. March 22, 2025 in London at the O2 Arena. We're back for a big one. Let's go.